listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, we've got some special guests, Isis and Mia Isabella. And Sara Chapman is back with us again.
Hi.
She's always filling the spare seat. It's great. So I never have to be in here talking to myself. You know, because push comes to shove, sometimes people don't show up for their shows.
Is that all I'm here for?
You know who you are.
I'm a filler.
Not at all. Not at all. You're a great co-host. It's funny because you look on some of the YouTube comments on some of the other previous co-hosts.
Uh-oh.
Well, we won't mention names, but it made me decide never to get an official co-host again.
Oh, okay. I'm changing that. We're good.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on YouTube. So I have with us two lovely ladies. Or I don't know how to go about this politically correct. The last thing I want to do is offend anybody. Okay. But what had happened was I think I was scoping you out on Instagram and I was scoping you out on Tinder and I had no idea that they were transgender. Is that correct?
So to say.
Which is a testament to how amazing your skills are. Like
your skills, they're beauty, astounding beauty.
Beauty, but I mean, like, if I dressed up as a girl, I'd be a hideous fucking woman.
I think you'd be very attractive.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
I think we should do an experiment.
See, she knows.
Yeah. Keep the beard, though. I think that would be a very attractive.
Really?
Yeah.
Just with a wig?
It's a new thing.
Just
yeah.
do it up? Okay.
Just a burly woman.
So I'm going to apologize in advance if I say anything offensive or tactless because I'm treading into new ground here. I don't understand this at all. But this whole Bruce Jenner thing's coming up, and it's something that immediately I thought, like, when
Caitlyn Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. When this whole thing came up, the last thing I wanted to do is be like, oh well, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you now because you girls are different than me. Mm-hmm. Immediately, I was like, wait. So like, what's that gotta be like? How many guys hit on you or are talking to you, and then they find out that you were born a man, and they flip out and get really mean to you?
Well, we were born as a baby.
No.
And then we get assigned a gender at birth. So that's the thing. And then we become the woman or the person that we want to be. And that's usually how it goes.
How amazing is that, right? To be able to, like, transform yourself to be exactly what you want, who you want to be.
So you said no. So you get a lot of guys that hit on you, and then they're like...
I've never had a guy hit on me and not want to still date me.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. See, misconceptions are just being shot out the...
It's okay.
Shut out the window.
This is a good space for it.
Yeah. No, you know what? And we did get dating in the gay community, and which is it's interesting because you guys all kind of get lumped into the same category, but you're not gay.
No.
You would identify, but that's huge for somebody like for a straight guy to sit here and think about that. I'm like, wait, so I feel like the community wants to lump that whole thing LBGT into the same category, and you've always identified as a woman.
Yeah, of course. Especially in youth, when you're learning about gender identity and what position you play in society. I think most young transgender people would say that they knew their chosen role very, very early on. Me, it was 4 years old.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I grabbed Tonka trucks and killed everything, and I burned everything.
I don't want to be in the mud.
I could see that about you, Jerod.
I burned everything. Like, if it was plastic and it could light on fire, I lit it on fire and I stuck it together, and it was bad. I was a very tenacious little child. So yeah, I in order to be very politically correct tonight, because we're actually expanding Modern Male Radio, and we're getting syndicated, and this is actually going places now. So what is the difference between transgender, transsexual, and a crossdresser?
Transgender and transsexual are the similar terms. It's pretty much the same terminology. A crossdresser is someone who doesn't have any transformative, work done, any hormone therapy, strictly dresses as female for sexual kicks.
And typically they're heterosexual white males that love to dress in women's clothing.
Yeah.
And
I've come across quite a few of those.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
And sometimes they look really good.
They do, sometimes.
But it's also very challenging for them because majority of the society shames them into like not sharing that. Mm-hmm. And so they don't share it with anyone until they get married, and then the wife is stuck with something that they don't understand. Mm-hmm. But if they do and accept it, then that relationship will flourish. Like, I'm sure that there are cases out there where they actually have a better understanding for each other. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, no, I have.
Awesome.
We had a guest on. She does. She's a dominatrix, and she's really big
me
into
too.
BDSM. But
Just
she's
kidding.
like
Nice.
super feminine, and like she's like Sara, but she's a dominatrix,
Oh,
and her
what?
husband's
Did I just get called out on something that I might require a whip for? Or?
and her husband's like 6'4", like super, like you would never ever know that on the weekends he likes to dress as a woman. And they have a very, very open sexual relationship and stuff. And it's really interesting to be friends with them because I get to, kind of like see all of this. Calling it crazy is probably the wrong
a
word.
unique dynamic.
Yeah, unique, dynamic.
Dynamic. I like that.
Do you like
It's
that?
dynamic.
I'm gonna pat myself on the shoulder.
There you go.
So,
Cool. So, are there any other terminologies that are offensive to you out the gate?
Go ahead.
well,
Well, from the the adult industry standpoint, being an adult performer in that world a long time ago, that term is the main search term for pornography containing transsexual people. So, a lot of people in the adult industry usually are in an uproar about it because it's considered derogatory, but at the same time, that is the niche market name for that genre of pornography. If you just yell out at someone, "Hey, tranny," of course, you're not saying it in a way that is, nice.
I have a lot of girlfriends actually that like they'll get called that. We'll go out, they put on a ton of makeup, like the stereotypical. Whatever. I don't even like saying the word, but yeah, like I've heard men
So wait,
call that.
tranny's a bad word.
It's a terrible word.
Is it?
Yeah,
So
it
that's
would be considered. It would be
Whether you're
considered.
really transgender or not, and you might happen to have a look that people in society think is.
Why is that a bad word?
Awful.
Why is that offensive? Is it because of the
connotation, of course, the way they're actually
the
saying
way
it.
they're saying it?
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of like the N word to black people.
or the F word to gay people.
Yeah.
So basically, like words that are used during hate crimes are typically words that we don't like
I know
to
this.
use.
I'm sorry.
I don't
I was
have a
distracted
penis,
by
but
that.
I have penis envy, and so that's where we're gonna draw the line on that one.
Yeah. What is
Good
it?
line
If
to
you-
draw.
If
Just
only
gonna
you had
leave
a
it
dick,
at that.
Sarah.
If only. My best friend in Orange County would be real happy. She's just in love with me. Hi, Beanie. Hi, Beanie.
Wow. Okay. So we just got off that one.
So yeah, don't use it.
Pun
I'm
So-
gonna try not to use it.
Okay. No, this is good. This is good. It's smart. But so tranny's short for transgender, right? I mean, so it's kind of like a different category there because gay or fag isn't short for anything. It's just a shitty word.
You can skirt your way around it any
Is
other way,
it?
any way you want to. You know what I mean? No matter what kind of idea, or it's still considered derogatory.
It's not like saying
Okay.
And
Target for
if you're-
Target.
right.
You can't like change it.
What if we
It-
took
it
the Y
doesn't-
off the end and it was just tran?
No.
Well, you can say trans.
Trans?
Yeah, or transgender, or
Okay.
trans woman of color. Like I am.
It's like the A on the end of the N word, as opposed to the R on the end of the N
Can we
word.
just not do that?
Yeah.
There are some things that we can have loopholes for, but like derogatory terms, really not so
Usually not,
much.
yeah.
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
Sorry.
Until something else becomes a derogatory term, then we run out of terms.
Then we just make
And
up
we
new
just
ones, and then we
call
just
you
keep
people.
doing this.
You know?
Or human.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't need an actual label for you. It's like, oh hey, other person who breathes and eats and has wishes, wants, and desires that I know nothing about.
Or how about how many
you know?
guys that like don't know your name and they're just like, "Hey you," and no matter who you are.
Hey
like,
you,
say my
out
name,
there
say
in the
my name.
club, always doing. I
No.
was gonna go somewhere with that, but I can't sing too well. So when you guys stop talking, it just
Actually, he sings really well.
Does he?
I've heard quite a few songs
Oh,
this
yeah.
week.
I heard that. I can hear it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's got good pitch.
But
It's musical theater right there.
but if you wanted to correctly apply like terminology to people, people whom are cisgendered women are typically people that are born in alignment with who they are now, like as a woman. Basically parallel or in align with. And then trans would be someone who's intersecting, like contrary to what they were born as.
So you guys don't consider yourself transgender anymore. You guys consider yourself women.
Well, I like to think I'm a lady.
A lady.
Hey,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Clap, clap, do
It's
that.
funny for me because I never lived my life ever thinking of myself as, in my daily life or routine, as a trans woman. I just think of myself as a woman. Only when
Okay.
I do media or things where people are celebrating it or wanting to be educated do I find myself like, oh, yeah, that's right.
That's great. I think that's really, really great.
And you've got
I just have so much respect, honestly.
You've got quite a few accolades going for you. You were the first transgender person to have ever done a video game voiceover, right? Is
for Grand Theft Auto 5.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Go yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a really great project.
Now, does it kind of irritate you that it's got to be like the first transgender thing, or no, you don't give a shit?
I think that's amazing. I didn't do the project because of any other reasons, but to like break a boundary for the community itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they made a big deal about me doing it, I was like, well, that's really awesome. But it was just a fun project to do in general. It was a great team of people, engineers, and of course, it's a $1 billion video game. So
Right.
I can't really beat that.
Can't really be like,
Name
oh,
associated
special
with that.
treatment. Oh, well. I mean.
And it was fun.
for
It was
you.
a really good thing. It was a cool project to do, like I said.
So growing up, I'm sure that there had to be like, I mean, I think about, like, I try and put myself in those shoes, and I go, what would your life be like if you had literally been born into a body that wasn't conducive with how you felt about yourself? And it's like, there's a lot of stuff wrong with a lot of different people. You know, people are born with abnormalities and, you know, mutations and stuff like that. But it's like, what would it be like to be completely normal and to also be locked into a body that didn't agree with, you know, society or norms or anything, you know, anything that you wanted, and it doesn't even agree with, you know, the procreational factors or whatever.
Can you just imagine how uncomfortable that would be to like live your daily existence and be like, this isn't fair. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
It makes me unhappy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like to look at yourself and feel.
Now, do you guys ever how was the development process growing up? Like,
It's different for every trans person.
Exactly.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Everyone has their own story, but eventually, like, it's clumped into just one, like, category just so people can understand it. But everyone experiences their life as a trans woman or a trans man in their own little way.
I think that's really important to point out because we're not just one size fits all, even if we have a label that is shared.
Every woman is not the same woman just because she's a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She didn't grow into herself by the same means as any other woman.
That's a really good point. So, what was the struggle like for you then, and what was the struggle like for you?
Why does everyone always think it's a struggle?
Struggle.
Wasn't a struggle.
No.
Because you know what? I would have struggled with it.
Stereotypically, people imagine that every trans person has a very horror story. In a lot of ways, yes, I have learned as I got older, and I actually met my first trans friends when I was 18. Like, these women had different struggles with coming out and being able to be themselves. I never had that. I was lucky enough to have really supportive parents and family that were really afraid of what society might do if I was to express myself. So in order to allow me the freedom, they were very protective of me. So a lot of the challenges many trans women faced, I didn't actually face those. And when I got older, I got to learn so much, and every story is extremely uniquely different.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, bravo for your parents.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Mine's kind of the opposite, which is very unfortunate. But like, I come from an Asian family. Like, we're very strict in our own like gender roles and norms way. But I mean, but my family is very loving. But at the same time, like, they're not to demean my family or deflate them in any way. But like, as much as I love them, sometimes it's hard to be trans because sometimes in their eyes it's catastrophic to
The
them,
culture.
to their culture, their reputation, things that matter to an Asian family. So throughout most of my childhood, it was more oppressed. I tried to assimilate myself into a role that didn't fit me, and that basically pretty much put a mental barrier on me and like exceeding in my life. So that's how that goes. So I had to really unpackage everything.
Do you both have siblings, or are you only kids?
Oh my God, I am one of 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm my mother's eldest and my father's baby.
That's amazing right there.
Holy cow.
I couldn't imagine having so many siblings.
I didn't
have a
know
brother,
that
but
was,
I'm like,
we didn't have that many until, recently. So.
how cool, though.
My dad's been pretty busy.
How exciting. Yeah. Go daddy.
But you know what, though? Like, the ability to come over those barriers, it takes a day-to-day journey.
Exactly.
Every woman doesn't get to go out and just be that flower that they see themselves. It takes time to develop living in your woman self and being in your form. And you have to separate yourself from family a lot of times because this is a unique experience that you are choosing to go through. And you have to separate yourself from any situation that makes you feel less than, because you're never going to break that barrier to bloom like you're supposed to.
Exactly.
It's a very
So who is your support system when that, obviously, you first were experiencing that? Did you have really good friends, or did you take yourself out of the school that you were in or something? I mean, were there?
Actually, because I'm Asian, I'm kind of a geek. I love books. So I actually resorted to books before YouTube was around, and before like anyone really like, before there was a vocabulary for any of us to speak about this. It was just whatever was in the adult industry, as well as whatever was pinned on like Jerry Springer or Mari as something that's that's
so
kind
silly.
of super silly. So I used books, and that's how I learned who I wanted to be, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, no one can take that from you. Education is something that cannot be taken from you.
Yeah, and I mean, right now
Bravo.
you guys are kind of fighting this is the civil rights. This is our generation's civil rights
It
movement.
seems that way. It seems like it's. I mean, it's out of nowhere too. I mean, I've watched it develop in the adult industry, which was original standpoint for people to kind of view us as a community. Sad to say, but that's sexual. People sexualize us.
Which is something that we're going to talk about.
Oh,
here in a second.
definitely. Of course. It's a huge thing. And what people don't understand is that gay men are not attracted to trans women. Gay men are attracted to masculinity. Straight men are attracted to femininity. So if you see a beautiful, curvy trans woman, if it's would be you are gay if you don't find her sexually attractive if she's in the form. I mean, we're built as the epitome of an over-sexualized female. In most cases, most trans women really overdo their beauty and go above and beyond. So if you don't find that exaggerated feminine form and body and look to be something sexual, then you're gay.
Okay. So
you're not a straight man.
What a awesome argument that
whether
was.
you're into the genitalia or not, that's something that gets in a gray area, and people's sexuality is different for each person. But the idea of seeing a beautiful trans woman and not being attracted to her would mean, in fact, that you probably like men.
Potentially.
There is a little gray area in all things in sexuality.
Wow. So all of our straight listeners out there right now, you just dropped a bomb on them. All of their brains are going.
So it's okay?
It's really
Like,
okay.
so it's okay?
Don't feel ashamed.
Well, yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. Is it should be okay, and that was one of the points that I wanted to make when this whole thing happened. Like, I wanted to get on the air and be like, hey, I totally thought you guys were girls, or I'm sorry, you guys are girls.
Totally thought that you had vaginas.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, he saw me out with a mutual friend, former adult performer on our social media stuff, I think, is initially where I got to see who you were.
Yeah.
I should actually clear that up. Not that you have vaginas, that you were born with vaginas, because I don't know, you know what I mean, what stage
That's
of anything.
very true.
So,
Very
yeah.
That is a good point because my brain went there too.
Call me, you'll find out.
But I mean, we're breaking down those walls, and so there are so many good points that we just got on. And one is that it's okay. Like, it's okay for anybody to do what they want to do in life, and it's okay for you guys to be who you want to be, and it's okay for other people who might not understand that to still like that and to still, not just accept the fact that you're different, like they're tolerating it, but to actually celebrate that and be a fan of that and to push
humanity?
that.
Yeah,
In
we're
general?
we're
A
still
fan of
human.
humanity. And then the other thing
We're all
is the
different.
sexualization thereof. That it's like, I think that a lot of it comes like, when you talk to really homophobic straight males, they'll be like, well, I mean, I'm cool with it as long as you don't hit on me. And it's like, what makes you think like
That you're even cute enough.
There you go.
Usually gay guys have really high standards. They're like, my gay friends are, they look like Abercrombie and Fitch fucking models. It's insane.
Most of my ex-boyfriends. Sorry, guys.
She had to put you on blast.
Sure did.
No, but I mean, the sexualization of it I think it's inappropriate because it's made a sexual issue. I think that at least from my perspective, what I've heard on it, how I felt, and what I've seen about it, it's very very crass and sexual in nature. It's like, I'm not all the judgment and the hatred and the anything, it all boils down to sex. It's not.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
I think that it is over sexualized, and maybe I'll come to a better formulation of that thought in a minute.
Well, isn't it interesting that one of the top and highest paying genres of pornography is and has been for over a decade transgender pornography, and me being one of the top stars in that world, I actually got to see that go on for a decade.
She's making that money, yo.
But no, I've actually seen it, and my demographic was generally young Caucasian males from the age of 20 to 40. They were college educated and usually were over $100,000 a year salaries or more. So these are highly educated men, and those usually would be those stereotypical group that people would think would be transphobic. But those are the biggest fans.
They're the ones that are embracing very embracing.
Well, that's because they're the smartest. You just called it out.
Mary over here.
I witnessed your
like,
moment.
she's like,
I was
very
into it.
embracing.
It's really hot in here.
Yeah, I got a little bit.
Why are you guys so hot for? Jeez. Okay, I'm done.
It
It
is a
must
little
be
hot
the
here.
hair. I'm sorry. So, how do you feel about gay marriage? It's kind of an oxymoron because
Wait.
you never identify yourself as gay, right?
Well,
We just covered that.
I have been legally married before, and I am identified and legally all formats.
So
female.
it doesn't even apply to you
So
guys.
I've never even
girls.
well, and,
No.
and the most from some trans women that maybe their identification and things like that haven't been transferred over to be female. So in those cases, they can't have those benefits. But
Oh.
I never encountered that part.
Now-
But I think anybody who's in love that wants to be with their partner for the rest of their life, it's their right
Should
to
be
do
able
so.
to.
Is that dependent? Is that transfer of identification? Is that dependent on the sex change, or is it
In
just?
some states, via Social Security Administration, as long as you have documentation to show hormone therapy treatments that you're transforming your gender and things like of that nature, you can legally transform everything over.
So gay marriage didn't even affect you guys, girls.
Well,
Well-
again, depends on your identification.
And which
Ah.
DMV you go to?
No DMV is good to go to.
Right? No.
None.
All DMVs suck equally.
It's about as good as
Aw.
calling AT&T when you need something. Just disappointment.
Well, I heard is Canada has been legalizing gay marriage for a long time. Is
Yeah.
that, so I didn't even know that until recently.
They
Yeah,
also-
Canada's always ahead of us with the socialist issues.
Yeah, it seems
issues.
that way.
I'm pretty sure they also cover SRS surgery too.
I think they've been doing that for a while. I think
Yeah.
I've known that much. I didn't know about the marriage part.
It's just gotta be like a lot on your plate. I mean, or is it? I mean,
It is.
you make it.
You're transforming yourself into what you see mentally, this picture of you
Okay.
and your form. And it takes time. It takes steps. It doesn't happen overnight. I think the biggest misconception that a lot of people took from Caitlyn Jenner's transformation was that this was something that was done overnight. It was definitely not. She's had trachea shaves way before any of the public knew about it, had feminization procedures done over time, and then took a long hiatus away from anything in the public eye to finish those transformations. It's not something
Such
that's
a-
done.
It's-
And I believe also she did hormone therapy back in the early 90s as well. It was
So much
documented.
work and
Takes time.
pain to get to a place where you feel
Exactly.
you feel like you deserve to be there.
Well-
Other people are just born that way, and it's like you have to go through all of these hoops to get to a
then
place
to
that
get there
other
and be
people take
told-
Especially
for
as a
granted.
public
Yeah,
figure,
and then
though.
to be
To
shot
get to that-
down.
yeah, to be told like you don't deserve to live what you've challenged and made yourself through.
And that's
It's
just so
horrible.
sad because it's
Yeah.
like
Imagine.
everyone that's
Horrible.
been watching Caitlyn as not Caitlyn before,
Yeah.
it's like their perception, their expectation changed. So then all of a sudden she's not allowed to be who she really is because we're used to seeing something
Exactly.
that's not.
And I think that was the brilliant part that she also did in coming and doing a lot of major media before, or did the big interview that was I watched. I forgot who aired it.
Yeah.
ABC, right?
I have no idea.
Well, anyway, when I was seeing that, I was glad that she actually showed herself in the male form before. There was a reason for that. That was honoring her fans and the people that knew that person, because that person was being essentially laid to rest for her moving forward in her life. So I think it was really important for, her fans, and to be able to bring them into this journey with her, to show herself that way and say, look, this is my plea, this is who I am. I'm going to do this regardless of what anybody thinks, but I'm wanting to honor the people that have been there for me, the organizations that have supported me based on my talents, not my gender preference.
Okay. That's
Yeah, because
awesome.
she didn't need to
Yeah.
do that at all. So that really was for
Yeah.
for the
Didn't have to do
public,
that at all.
for fans.
Is it ever kind of fun and liberating, or is it? I mean, to me from the outside, it'd be like, oh, it's a shit ton of work and plastic surgery and bullshit that you have to go through. It doesn't seem like it'd be fun, but maybe it could be a little like.
Are you kidding me? I'm like,
like you're decorating a house.
I was born
you know?
female, and it's still, no matter what, a shit ton of work and a shit ton of surgery
women
expected,
in
and
general.
padded bras, and these are real. And
Right?
guys are like, "Why don't you get your boobs done?" And I'm like,
She's
"Fuck
like,
you,"
"They're
because
done.
they're I can
Natural."
just push them up.
You
There's
can
I like
that.
them.
Thank you. I like yours.
Thank you.
you can take it back to like
And that happened.
so many things are happening. Okay. You can take it back to like puberty. Like it's basically going through puberty again, but crammed in like a few years.
I was such a late bloomer. Like,
Me
I
too.
hate
You
this
see,
topic of
dude,
puberty.
isn't it?
Puberty sucked.
Yeah.
So
So
badly.
basically like the same thing. You're very
Yeah.
hormonal. Things happen again. The other thing is like, I don't want us to gloss over the fact that Caitlyn Jenner can transition a lot faster than anyone else besides her, because she's very privileged in her own way and she makes a lot of money.
Sure.
And there are people who can't even make enough money, get paid anything, or even get a job. So that's one thing that
It did. The transformation was very, very quick.
And I'm sure in other countries this is, more acceptable. But then in some other countries, I'm sure it's like.
Well, the funny thing is, Caitlyn Jenner wasn't the first of her peers to do this in the past couple of years. There's a billionaire tycoon who's a trans woman who is like one of the top engineer executives in that industry that's worth billions of dollars. That was all over the financial magazines, transformed into herself. It didn't make that much attention as her because she's attached to a very pop iconic family at the moment. There's a Chicago billionaire herself, whose family is one of the biggest wealthy real estate tycoon families in Chicago and the Midwest, who also did the same thing, who was in the military as well, and is fighting for military rights for trans as well. Caitlyn Jenner's not the first of her peers to do this in the past couple of years at all.
Yeah.
Might I point out.
It just reminded us how much work that we still need to do in unpackaging our gender roles and norms in general.
Yeah, you guys are the freedom fighters right now.
It's incredible.
You're on the front
to
lines.
see it, what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's crazier to think in 10 years, 20 years, this conversation will be irrelevant, and people will be like, "Oh, when was that not normal?
I'm
when
like,
was that
I
not
surely hope
acceptable?"
so. I hope it's way sooner than that.
Well, look at it like this: 50 years ago, slaves still existed. That was real, or segregation at least.
Yeah, segregation.
What was it? Women couldn't vote until what, the 60s, the 70s, something like that.
Oh no!
I don't wanna
think
quote
it was
facts, I don't know.
1920s, I think.
No, wait, they could
Yeah,
vote.
I'm over
But
here
when was,
Googling.
when was the women's rights
it.
movement? That was in the
Wikipedia, let's go
60s,
there.
right?
We'd have to Google it.
Okay.
I'll fail. Hashtag
Yeah,
fail.
I might.
Oh no.
I do that all the time. We had a show on here, and I completely misquoted this Latin phrase, and I was like, I was watching it back, and I was like, that's not what entheos
We're not going on
means.
Jeopardy next week.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's crazy because my brain doesn't function this way. So to actually sit here and talk to 3 different people at the same time and try and keep a show going and think about where I want to direct this thing, that's not me, guys.
Gorgeous ladies. Just,
Where do you see
I'll be
some of the
throwing
other
it
stuff we're
everywhere.
making?
There's like tits everywhere.
oh
too.
my goodness.
I just
Oh,
realized
let me
that.
cover my
There
mouth.
are.
Yeah, no, that's horrible
No, bring
too.
them out. Let those puppies breathe.
I'm being attacked.
95 degrees
No one's
outside.
attacking
Just
you.
because
Oh
Jerod
my
can't
God,
take his
I
shirt off.
know,
It's
I
hot
know,
outside.
It's so hot. I was just like, I'm gonna put this crop top on.
You be
Can't.
lucky you don't have breasts right now.
It is kind of warm in here.
I'm just gonna. Okay.
Take a little nap.
I'm like,
But you have flowers.
a little hot.
Can we?
Yeah,
can
actually,
we talk
yeah,
about
let's do
our
that.
flowers?
Oh
That's
my God!
perfect.
And thank you
They're
so
so
much.
cute.
How
You're
romantic!
welcome.
This is like our first date.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a good
You're
orgy
welcome.
on this show.
He's like, what do you like, black or white? I'm like, I'm gonna go for the sleek black. And then I saw that they were roses. Well done.
You're
Thank,
welcome.
thank you, Flora's Oath.
Yeah, so you can find these guys at floorasoath.com. You can find them on Instagram at floorsoath.
Am I covering?
That's it'll be all over the website and stuff. So they sponsor us with these awesome flowers, and they make my guests incredibly happy.
Because
so
they're pink.
They're so
Today,
pink and
especially,
pretty.
very
Yeah.
happy.
and they come in these like
pink.
super awesome boxes.
Yeah.
That even after the flower dies, you can use that box for.
Yes.
I don't know what you
Putting
put
a
in
little
there.
treasures.
These we
and
actually
stuff.
have to take care of because these aren't the ones that die.
I'm like trying to think of what would fit in there.
Don't say it.
You can make like a,
Drumsticks.
you can make like a jewelry box. I'd make it like a jewelry
Yes.
box, right?
Good one.
Yeah, you could put some necklaces in there. You put a little hook up there.
Makeup.
I could put my money
Organize
in
your
here.
makeup in it.
Better have my money.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that video? That's so problematic. Oh my goodness. It's
Actually,
so
I haven't seen it. Did I just
What?
accidentally quote some
Tumble-
song that's terrible?
No, well, it's not terrible. I really like the song. I just think it's really.
Is it an
violent.
offensive video? Of course.
I
it's an
love the
offensive video.
song.
I love
It's
the
a
song
great
too.
song.
Rihanna has
Well,
a dark
I mean,
side to her. She has a really edgy kind of side to her that she
I
likes to
just-
play with every once in a while.
I'd rather promote like loving. I don't know if it's just me being Asian or growing up Buddhist, but like I'd rather promote that as opposed to like hurting someone else in general.
Definitely. I like Ron Bean's music. We could talk about his song.
Speechless.
But Rihanna, I love
just
that.
bring it up.
That's great.
No.
Rihanna, I love it.
So it's interesting because I'm the roles. I keep thinking like, now you're here, and I get to ask you these questions directly, and I'm like, all of these things start coming up. So like when it comes to like even the biblical stuff, like Christianity, and they're so against gay, male on male, loving, or fucking whatever.
Shit just got serious.
Right, like, oh shit.
Um,
I'm hiding under the table. Religion.
Yeah, and usually I don't speak on religion. At
you
all.
guys actually kind of like, does it count? I mean,
Depends where you're at.
because I feel like people can use and justify almost any form of hatred out of religion. It's kind of like,
which is sad. That's the opposite direction that religion was actually created for.
It's like they say the Old Testament is thrown out when it doesn't meet their needs, but then they use the Old Testament to be like, I'm gonna use this to screw your freedoms because I don't. It's this weird double standard in justifications. If everybody just went by the New Testament, you might as well just buy the Secret, and you're good to go.
I live in a continuous fairy tale, and in my fairy tale, it's all love.
Ooh, me too.
And whoever that I believe in, that my relationship with spiritually is, I think would love me completely because I think I'm pretty incredible, and I'm here for a purpose.
Cheers to that.
There you go.
Yeah, to educate and teach people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do college speeches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that too.
I haven't started yet. That's really amazing.
I
love
did
that
that.
Laverne does that too.
Yes.
She does it a lot.
I did it at UCSB, and I spoke to people about first off, the reason how I knew how I was going to transition is because I did performance art. So I did drag for a few years. So I taught people how to love themselves first before they actually start doing something. So that's one thing that I always like to remind people of what to do when it comes to doing the speeches.
So start inside. Love yourself.
The same as what Marnie said. You have to love yourself before you can actually do anything else. And we shouldn't be patronized or shamed for doing that.
Yeah, I start with the exact same approach when it comes to coaching guys. Men on.
That's right. You do coaching. You have a book as well.
Yes.
It takes a lot of work for some people to love themselves, really, like on a daily basis. Because there are days when I get up and I'm just like, oh, that's you again. I'm looking in the mirror. And then I'm like, okay, we're here. We're going to just move it on up. We're going to do something to make me feel good. I'm going to order some Eat 24.
Love Eat 24.
That's so good.
What are they saying? We're baking cookies or we're
jiggling
croissants.
Yeah, no, we're trying to rope them into sponsoring us.
I really love Eat 24.
Get on that.
They love
I
me
order
too.
every day.
They're getting there.
What's that?
I order from them every day.
Every day. Me too.
Every day, something.
And I'm loyal to Eat 24.
Whoa.
Grubhub.
Seriously. You didn't even just say the GH word. It was all Eat 24.
Yeah, what? What was that?
Yeah, what are your favorite foods? Let's just have a normal
I love
conversation.
Thai food.
Thank
I
you.
love pasta.
You're welcome.
I love
You love my
seafood.
food.
I love pretty much all kinds of food. Soul food, especially southern food.
I'm a huge foodie, so I really can't discriminate. I'm like getting my belly. And yeah, you're going on Instagram. Done. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
That's funny.
Jared's like, don't take pictures of your food. And I'm like, okay, I'm not.
I do it all the time. I just posted a lunch thing. Shout out to Urban Ramen for an amazing lunch. Thanks, guys.
Ooh, what is
Awesome.
it? What's Urban Ramen?
It's a ramen place. They do
I love
sushi
ramen.
and everything. It's amazing. It's on Sunset.
Okay, going there.
Nice.
Promoting them.
So, not to thank Sarah for being like, hey, let's have a normal conversation and making this my line of questioning unnormal.
Sorry about it.
But I can't. I mean, you guys seem so well adjusted and ready to be here and speak about this. And I'm sure that there are a lot of other people who aren't. Now, what would you say to them? If you had a message for people watching this right now, who are maybe thinking about it or whatever.
About transitioning?
Yeah.
Take your time.
Words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
It shouldn't be rushed. It should be something that you understand yourself, and typically you just know. And it's like the way I think Oprah said it. You should strive to be the best version of yourself, and that's what we're doing, and taking it into our own hands, and that's should be inspirational enough for them.
Yeah.
So take their time.
I just thought of getting tattoos when you just said that, because I'm like, those are the two things that I regret the most in my life because they're permanent. I can get them taken off, but it's a process.
Yeah, it's a
thing.
process.
So, but yeah, that's a big change.
I would say everything is going to be fine. You take your time. Everything is going to be fine. You're going to get to be the person that you want to be. You're going to get to be that individual that you see inside. Just take your time. Be patient.
And don't rush.
Yeah.
And don't be impatient with it. Take your time.
Is there a backlash from that when?
Yeah. Like silicone injections and things like that. That can get really nasty really fast. And a lot of people can die from it. Like someone whom I used to really idolize a lot, Erica Andrews. Not that was the case, but she passed away, and that's just something that.
Or dealing with regret, or dealing with I went too far too soon, and now I'm gonna come back. When people do with addictions.
It's something you always deal with in transforming yourself medically anyway. It doesn't matter if you're transgender or not.
True. I have plenty of girlfriends that have had breast implants and they've gone wrong, or
the quick fixes that are
One's
never
over
there.
no joke.
Investment.
It's
you have-
no
this is your
laughing
vehicle.
matter.
It's your vehicle. This is what you have to
Drive through
live
your
your
life.
purpose. So
Yeah.
you need to take care of it no matter what
That's
you're
very
doing.
important too. Also, being able to take care of the changes that you make, because some people will take take that for granted. They're like, okay, it's done. I don't have to do anything more. And it's like, no, you get your breasts done. You have to take care of those breasts. Whether you were born with a penis or a vagina,
Wait, what?
learn how to take care of your breast implants. You massage them, all this stuff. I don't know because I don't have them, but I've done a lot of research into it.
You have to change them every 10 years, I think.
Yeah, and you have to be very careful because of stretch marks. It's really...
What?
Yeah, so
all of this stuff I
understanding
didn't
what
know.
you're going to have to do for maintenance after you make those major changes.
Interesting.
And a lot of money.
So, I mean,
Yes.
aside from this just being an awesome show on dating and stuff, some of our male listeners might be wondering, what the deal is. And in the intro of the book, when I actually kind of like describe what a modern male is, I think people kind of lose that part. They're like, oh, well, that's a corny term. But it comes from the word metrosexual, which I don't like because of the sexual connotation in it.
Building fucker. I just think of that every time you say it
Yeah,
now.
I see that picture in my head. I'm like, oh, that's a very graphic picture.
Because you read his book.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before you were in the other room, that she read your book in what, like 4 hours?
Something like that.
I was like, it took me 4 weeks.
loves books.
I read books. I love books. It's
Very
wonderful.
impressed.
very good.
But so modern male basically boils down to a forward-thinking male in a heteropolitan area, and we've gotten into cosmetic stuff a lot. We've gotten into like the dating stuff when it's specific to women. We've gotten into or specific to male female. There's nothing I can say that won't put my foot in my mouth right now. But we've gotten into that. That's very specific to cultural norms, and aside from talking about something that's outside of cultural norms, I also want to talk about within those cultural norms the value of empathy and compassion. And this isn't like you feel sorry for it doesn't want to be like, oh, I pity you for being different. That's not it. Just part of being a modern male is being open, understanding, engaging, and to actually take something in, and you have the responsibility of thinking about it, rationalizing it, emotionalizing it, and then figuring out how you are independently going to deal with this issue in your mind, and not according to society standards, not according to what other people think, and not according to what you might be afraid to do. In fact, what you're afraid to do is most probably the direction that you should push in, because that's what's going to expand your mind more. That's what's going to teach you how to be a better human being. That's what you're going to learn from and grow from. So, for my dudes out there, duding it along, like.
Duding it along?
Duding
Did you
it
just say
along.
that?
Yeah, that happens.
Duding it along.
Take
I'm
some
using that
time
one from
to
now
talk to
on.
somebody who's maybe not in your social circle, or maybe
Growing it
not
along.
somebody that you don't understand, or something that you don't understand completely. That can really open your mind, and you can grow from that as a human being. And in any relationship, like, compassion is attractive. Empathy is attractive.
True.
It doesn't make you, a wussy or a spineless, like it doesn't make you an effeminate man to care and take care of your fellow human race and to love the people around you, no matter what they are.
It's okay to have a softer side.
I wouldn't even call it a softer side. I don't see that as soft.
Sensitive. So I mean,
Isn't that the
language.
reality of being a king, though, of your own life and your own journey, is to evaluate experiences and situations the way that you choose to. As you said, not according to society, not according to what your friends think, because you are a man that's in control of your own life. You're the king of your world, and you're allowed to do as you please. Not
Yeah,
hurting anyone.
I'll even redefine it. I'll write it in a book. I'll be like, oh, so none of you guys think that
You will,
way.
next
That's
week.
cool. Tomorrow I'm gonna go and I'm going to redefine this word and publish a book. So now who's like that's the way I work. I don't. Like, oh, all of you think that. That's cool. Well, I'm going to prove you stupid.
Here comes the methodology of the compassionate macho male or something.
No, I feel like there's so many bad, I would go back to the word tranny.
There are terrible connotations.
There are terrible
terrible
connotations
words.
with macho and compassion, and there are terrible connotations
Even
with
when I said
sensitive.
soft, you were like,
Uh-uh.
and I'm like, soft is a good word for me. Like, I don't see anything wrong with saying softer
Yeah, but
side.
males always feel like that makes them less of.
It does,
You
totally
say
does, which is
soft
why he
anyway.
said wussy, and I'm like, wussies are fine. Like, what's wrong with that? But yeah,
I like
of
the word
course.
care. I like the word care,
Care is a great word.
in the simplest sense, to care for something, to cultivate something. Like you're caring for a plant,
A Florazoa flower.
an animal, a human
Care
being,
for it.
anybody. I
Yes.
care.
I love these roses.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna connect with you, and I'm going to give you an attentive, emotionally responsive human being to talk to and engage with.
I think that like one of the directions that you're going to is that your concept of what it takes to be a human person is to make sure that people love equally.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good direction for you to go to.
Well,
I would agree.
Modern Male is only the first book. There are 5 more that I haven't published yet.
Oh, geez.
And it comes full circle into it's really all self-development. Modern Male was very kind of ego-driven self-development. It wasn't there's no universal principles in there. There's not a lot of like, hey, self-love. It's more about, hey, you're a dude and probably also an idiot, so let me teach you how to get better with girls. And I mean, it was written like that because I wrote it to print it out to bitchmack the next person that said that I was lucky with women. And I was like, they're like, oh, you're good looking, so you probably get all the girls. And I'm like, no, I've been good looking my whole life, but I was awkward for the first half of it, and I didn't get any girls. So I know that it wasn't the good looks. And I'm like, then I learned how to be a human being, and now, I do okay.
He's like, he glosses. Do okay. Do okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, I'm all right.
I'm like, yeah, me too.
We've all got our journeys, so that's part of yours, and you always talk about your struggles and being a fat kid and whatnot.
Well, I think that's part of the reason
Everyone's
why
got
I can understand when people have been through some challenging circumstances, because I went through some amazingly challenging circumstances early in life.
Well, we'll get to talk another time, I think, about my book. They'll be releasing it before the end of the summer. So.
Okay, cool. I didn't even know you were writing a book.
And I'll get to have explain a lot of my perspective as well.
Yeah.
Being in this life, and this journey, and this kind of different, unstereotypical transition, I guess.
When are you releasing it?
I think they want to release it after my birthday, like the 30th, which is this month.
Okay.
I think they want to do it like right after my birthday. Should be releasing.
Cool. Who's what publishing house?
Riverdale Publishing.
Nice.
Yeah,
there we
should be
go. Nice. Killer.
That's my first one. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I self-published my first book, and I just went through, like, I think we republished it 5 times. It's still not done. I still have more stuff to add to that. But another reason that I bring that up is because I do date coaching, and I get men, and then I started to get women, and then I started to get gay guys. And I've never coached transsexual people. Is that offensive? Transsexual people?
No.
It was like calling somebody like African American.
Same as calling them transgender.
You're
Okay.
all right on that one.
All right. I'm trying to be very. I would just. Okay. So.
Have a normal conversation.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is it? I've never coached a transgender person before, but one of the suggestions that I got about the book was like, I started writing Modern Male, and then I started coaching girls, and I was like, okay, well, now I need to write a book for girls. And I found that it's almost, maybe 70% of the book is the same. The same stuff I would say to girls is the same stuff I would say to guys. It's universally like, love yourself, be confident, be driven, and tailor up the stuff on the outside to match the stuff on the inside. And then, it's like, so it doesn't really need to be that specific. Then you just boil it down to masculine and feminine, and then it applies to everyone. It could be a dating guide for anyone, depending on where they find themselves on the masculine and feminine scale.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So transgender, I suppose, could benefit from that as well. Except usually that we don't have any problem with that.
Exactly.
What?
We don't really have any problems because I think
I
we're
love it.
very insightful when it comes to like figuring out where or
Well, exactly
what's-
what we know exactly what men want. Let's just be realistic.
hashtag realness.
Yeah, there's like a serious double threat there, which is like really, really cool.
Well, it's a reality for
Yeah.
sure. And I think because trans people are so overly sexualized in any term of media or whatever, we have a huge, boys know how to find the trans girls. They know exactly what to do.
Yeah, they always find me.
It's
It's ridiculous. I'm just like on the street waiting for the bus, and they just find me. They circle around the street and then be like, "Hey, you need a ride?"
Oh.
And I'd be like, "Oh."
Well, don't do that.
They don't even have chocolate, so it's okay.
So you guys,
I'm sorry.
there's no problem whatsoever. You guys are
Well, I've assimilated, yes.
okay. So you
But-
guys are girls. Sorry, girls proper. You girls are probably getting laid more than I am.
don't
If
talk
they're
about my sex
ladies,
life.
they're not gonna.
I like how I'm talking about my sex life.
Sorry,
Like-
sorry. We're just.
Sorry.
Ladies usually don't really
Talk about their
run
sex life.
mouth on that one.
Cause see, I guess I assumed that it would be more difficult, but it seems like you guys are just killing it. So I'm like, oh, okay, didn't know that.
I don't have any problem with my dating life.
Okay.
I don't date.
I've actually
I'm right
been
there
learning
with
to
you.
date. I've been learning to date.
Picky,
This
picky.
past year and a half has been the first time that I've really, really experienced like putting myself out there in a format in just normal society.
Are you on Tinder?
Maybe. I don't know. My girlfriend signed me up for all these things when I first started dating.
My girlfriend signed me up for Tinder too.
I wasn't on
so
any technological
that
sites
happened.
like that because I have I guess an image in the
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
world people can automatically contact anyway. So I never thought to do that. My girlfriend's kind of put me out there in that way. So I've been learning today.
You know what?
It's
It's a
been
really good
interesting.
dating app, but it's better than Tinder. It's called Happen, and it basically like it gives
Never heard of it.
it matches you based on people that like you've been near. So
What about there's a new one being developed that is associated with like friends of friends through your Facebook and social media set that you actually know. So it's
That's
like
smart.
people that you actually know.
that's smart.
I
like,
see most
through
of
that.
those
Yeah.
people on
To
Tinder
reference.
anyway.
But I mean, I feel like
oh, I'm not on Tinder. Just kidding.
I know,
I've only
I
said it
know,
like 5
it's horrible.
times.
But no, Happen's great because like it doesn't like it like tracks your GPS location at all times, which is
It's just
for
so
the-
stalkerish.
definitely
scary.
it's definitely the NSA.
Oh God.
But what it does is anybody that you've been within a 10-mile radius of, it'll like if they're on the app, it'll show you who's been in that area, and then you just kind of you click on it, and if they click
Like
on
Dane
you,
Cook.
yeah,
That one time.
it's like Tinder, but like
I matched him and then he.
all
had
the
some-
people that I found on that happen to be like
Blast
way
him.
more professional and like put together, and they're all like a little older. And,
quality.
yeah, it's definitely quality. There we go. That's the word I was searching for.
Yeah, that's usually not been my range of dating in that format. I mean, I like to browse those kinds of things and like see what my options are.
Yeah.
But I haven't like, dove head first. I was in 2 long-term relationships my entire adult life. Literally for 9 years of my life, I was with 2 men. Like, period.
Oh wow.
Did
Yeah,
we
and
not
committed
just have
relationship.
this conversation
Yeah.
though about dating? You were like, well, why don't you just pick one and do it? And I was like, it's like driving through a fast food place. It's always available, especially one that's open
True.
24 hours a day.
True.
And they're probably going to get my order wrong anyway. So
Ooh.
I could or I couldn't.
That's so true.
I could just eat 24. Back to that. Just forget Carl's Jr.
So we need to find you the Eat 24 of penal
Yeah.
availability.
That's the way to put it.
No.
I believe
I'm
in you,
a little
Sarah.
bit more emotionally responsible than just like number 4. I'll take him.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to have I think, build an emotional connection.
Absolutely.
But I think you do have to put yourself out there, though, to be able to
Yes.
do that.
It does seem far-fetched, but if we've learned anything from the 80s, all of the 80s movies on the future, like Blade Runner and, it's like Terminator, like all that's like literally there's a company called Cyberdyne that is developing robotic legs that now can make it so that people with spinal injuries and stuff can walk.
That was
And they
some nerdy kid's dream when he was back in the day, and he made it happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like in the
Daddy, where's my
80s,
hoverboard?
the
Right.
idea of that was so crazy, and now we have hoverboards. So I
Yeah.
could see us in the next 20, 50 years actually having drive-through. You could just drive through and you could scroll through, pick the girl or guy, and they kind of walk out and sit in your car. You go around the park.
It's going to be so bizarre.
I think they do that in Asia already.
There are definitely some forms of
I
that
saw
going
a
on
documentary
already.
where they had like the glass door.
Yeah.
It's a country in Asia. It had this glass window, and they had all the girls that were just there sitting and like an order thing, and the guys just picked them, and it was like boom with me. Like that's
Damn.
what it was. Yeah, I saw. That.
Yeah.
That's slightly very
So-
problematic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, not if they're getting paid well. That's the one thing about it being illegal out here is it also makes it so that the girls that do that behind closed doors make a shit ton of money. So, I mean, you just see them running around in like Bentleys and stuff. And I'm like, you go, girl. Like,
Yeah.
hey, if it doesn't bother you, fuck it, And I respect the hustle. Like,
Gotta respect hustler.
It's not too far-fetched, though. I mean, as far as like dating shows out there and things.
plus, like,
Remember,
if,
what was that? Like,
if you hated girls in
So many in the
LA
80s.
if you hated girls in LA for doing that, then you wouldn't have any friends because it's so common.
it's very common.
It's like literally every girl in LA has a sugar daddy or something.
That's
Anyways,
smart. Maybe I should get one. Of
What
those.
was that one show that I'm thinking of? Was that The Love
Anyone
Connection, where they
out
had
there?
like 3 people and then they couldn't see each other, but then do you remember the show?
I remember that show.
Okay.
oh yeah.
Love Connection.
Like a blind date or something.
Yeah, like we're not going to like the sex slave trade
No.
talk there. So I'm thinking like, what were those like dating shows back in the day that weren't like what we have now?
Yeah.
Just
Cool. So
not
what
good.
have you guys got
Is it
to
cool?
promote? Where can people find you? Do you want to promote?
Social media,
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, THE, Mia Isabella, MIA Isabella. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My site, mia-isabella.com if you're curious. And my upcoming book soon.
Yeah. Pick it up, guys. And you?
And Magic of Isis, that's my performance.
Okay.
Nice.
So MAGICOF is.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is.
But the safe one, like the Egyptian goddess, not the one overseas
Right.
that everyone's scared of. Just to clarify, you can be scared of me though. I'm a ninja.
Isn't that Dionysus? Is it Isis?
Egyptian goddess Isis.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a different one. Maybe it's Greek?
Yeah.
Dionysus? Who's that? Okay. You know, on a daily basis, I go through so much different stuff that, like, there's literally no RAM left in my brain to actually remember stuff. And I'm like, wait, I think I knew that. But that was, like, 10 years ago. But really, it was a year ago. I've loaded, I've loaded 10 years of facts into my brain.
Good for you.
And Sarah, where can people stalk you?
You can just stalk me at Sarah Beth Harris on Instagram. There's plenty of stalkers doing
All
that
of my friends and fan base have
Most
now.
of Jared's friends are finding their way to my phone numbers through Facebook, which thanks for that,
God.
whoever really gave him my number, because I swear it's not on there.
And now you told everybody that your number is available through Facebook, so you should probably fix
Great
that.
I'm probably
marketing.
going to have to figure it out. I really don't think it's on there.
I can help you.
More options.
Call me. No, I'm totally kidding. Don't call me. Don't text me.
Yes, but if you want to stalk Sarah, you can
Just-
find her on
yeah,
Instagram at
sounds
Sarah
good.
Beth
Harris.
Harris.
That's right.
because she has a what is that?
Because I have better search engine optimization that way. Because Sarah Chapman, there's just too many of them. I'm
Okay.
drowning in this sea of Sarah Chapman. Sarah Beth Harris. Sarah Beth Harris. Sarah Beth Harris.
All right. Well, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.